What's going up, everybody? It's Chini the Great back for another Write With Me Wednesday. So, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I sure didn't notice that I made about 4 Write With Me Wednesday 45s. And the reason for that is, when I go to save the video, I save it as whatever number it is, but to figure out what number it is, I go back in the file where I save all of them and look at the highest numbers. So, for some reason, the only one that was showing up was 44, so I made 45. But that wasn't showing up. So I saw 44 again and I made 45. I made about 345 videos. I went back and fixed it. This is number 47 for me editing. Now I know. But today we are going to do more feedback on my novel. Hope you guys like this kind of style. It's gonna go a little bit differently than the first time. It is Wednesday right now. I just posted the last Write With Me Wednesday, which I had a blast writing for my new project. I don't know how much information you have now that it's a week later, how much I've got to tell you, but let me know if you enjoyed that. I definitely had a lot of fun with it. It was a lot of work though, but I'm really excited about continuing my work with that organization. Anyways, today we're going to go through the feedback on chapter 2 of my novel. There's 11 comments. So I'm gonna go through and read these and pick out the good information and the helpful information. And I also have to reply to people's comments in the first chapter because these people are doing me a favor as, like, by reading my stuff, they're doing me a huge favor. So it would be shitty of me if I just ignored them and didn't even respond to them after they took the time to not only read my novel, but to give me feedback. So I'm going to go through and reply to the people in the first chapter, but right now I'm going to read the second chapter stuff. I have my bullet journal so I can write down all the helpful tips that these people give me. And 11 comments. So I actually have today off. So this is what I'm going to do today. I'm trying to get all my work done today. I finished the Write With Me Wednesday, posted that up. I'm on top of all the articles I need to send in this week. They're all sent in. So then now I also have tomorrow off, but today is freezing cold and windy, and tomorrow is sunny and warm. So I want to be outside tomorrow. I want to do more hobby stuff, more enjoyable stuff. So I'm trying to get all my work done today while it's cold and crappy outside. So that's what I got going on. I'm trying to get a head start on this video and not wait till the last minute to film it like I usually do. So I'm going to go through and read these comments and just kind of discuss with you guys some of the interesting things that I find. I'm also going to compare, it gives me the name of the people leaving these comments, so I'm going to compare these people to the last chapter to see if there's any people that are reading it all the way through, if that makes sense, instead of just commenting on one chapter, if they're following through the entire process and reading every chapter, because that's really what I need. That way they can see how the story develops, and then their criticism will develop according to the story. So, I'm going to do that as well. But there's 11 comments. The first one, not very helpful. It's just a compliment, which I appreciate, but it's not very helpful. So I'm going to get into the next one. So the second one is just kind of touching on the fact that the main character, I kind of bring him a little bit of tenderness. And I really focused in this chapter on the reader sympathizing for that character. Because in the first chapter, the way my novel is set up is the first chapter and every other chapter is from the point of view of a young girl. And every other chapter in between that is from a third person point of view about her father. So in the first chapter it was from the girl's point of view, and she kind of views her father as like this really stone, heartless man, at least at first. And so in the second chapter, I wanted to bring him kind of more human qualities, so lighten him up a little and just kind of explain his behavior. When I had this writing class in college, the professor really stressed that people act the way they do for a reason. If someone is mean to you, it's not for no reason. Like, you may have not done anything to deserve someone to be mean to you, but that person has something going on in their life that causes them to act that way. So if someone, there's no one just good or bad for no reason. Like, people have reasons for everything they do, for every behavior they do. Even if they don't know the reason themselves, there's a reason they're acting that way. So I really wanted to, he's kind of made out to be the antagonist in the first episode, or the first chapter, but I kind of just wanted to let the reader understand why he acts the way that he does. And this person kind of saw that, so they really appreciated it, and they kind of like, I achieved that goal. At least for this reader, I achieved that goal. So this person says, in the first chapter, I thought he would be the villain. I like how quickly you were able to build sympathy for him. I am now looking forward to the next chapter. Which, that last part that they're looking forward to read on makes me so happy. Like, that's unbelievable. Because as a reader, when I'm excited to go into another chapter of the book, it's like an unreal feeling. Like, especially if that carries on through the whole book and I just don't want to put it down. Like, if I could ever, not saying that this person would want to read every single chapter without stopping, but if I could ever write a novel that has that effect on someone, that would be like the goal. That would be remarkable. But anyways, like, kind of like I said about the last comment, this person was able to see the harshness in the first chapter and then the kind of lightness in the second, and they appreciated that they got the different sides. So again, I achieved the goal for another reader. So because a couple of different people agree on that, then I'm probably doing something right in that aspect. So that's reassuring, but I'm sure I'm doing a lot of other things wrong, so I'm going to figure out what those are. So, something someone said in the first chapter was, why are they doing this to save money? And I don't want to give my main conflict away, like the whole plot, so I'm being vague. But just to get the point across, this family's doing something to save money, sort of. And they were like, that doesn't make sense. Like, how is that helpful? But then in this chapter, I don't know if it's the same person, I'll have to check, but at least somebody is saying, I understand that they did this not really to save money, but for someone else's benefit. And so it's more complicated than, oh, let me do this to save money. There's reasons that the conflict is going on. There's reasons that actions are taken, and at least this person sees that it's more deep than just a money issue. But again, this person, I don't know if it's the same person that said this in the last one. They brought up the fact that, why is this little girl not in school? And I said it last video that someone else mentioned that same thing. And the thing is, it's summer vacation. And I don't know when, because I don't remember like every word of my novel. But at some point I addressed that and mentioned that it is summer vacation. And I thought it was in the second one. But maybe it's not in the second chapter. So clearly there's multiple people who are confused about why this girl's not in school. So very early on in the novel, I need to bring up the fact that it is summer vacation and she is not in school. That's something I need to address because multiple people have brought that to my attention. Man, this person, I guess I'm not trying to brag. I'm really not, because I see more faults in my writing than like things I do correctly. But another person has brought up the fact that this is really important to see the father in this light as a contrast to the first chapter, and that it's really important. And they understand why I'm doing this, and they're being very, very kind. They say, I love the way you switched to show the father in this section. Like, again, the point of view went from the daughter's point of view to third person about the father. It's so important to see him this way. Not a man who discarded his daughter, but one who made an impossible choice, a necessary but painful choice. Showing the issues at work ramps up the tension and keeps me turning the pages. Again, that's a huge compliment, and I'm glad that. I think what I really struggled with in writing in school was always like, things are more complicated than they're led on to be. People are so complicated. Life is so complicated. Decisions and plots are complicated, and we need to show that in writing. And I never understood really, like, I never did that until someone mentioned it, and I was like, okay, I need to figure out how to do that. And so I really, really tried to do that with this novel. I really did. I tried to make the characters have tons of different sides and make them like human, because humans have different personalities. And this person said, I just like what this person said, that they get to see it this way is important. So another huge compliment. They keep turning the pages. So that's really heartwarming and very kind of that person to say. Okay, this person says, it's a good chapter, but I would still like to know what's wrong with the mother. So I mentioned before, the mother's sick. The mother in the story is sick. And I don't really explain why until about halfway through the novel. And another person in the last chapter said they want to know what's wrong with the mother. And so that brings up two things. So one group of people wants to know why the girl's not in school, and apparently I've waited way too long to mention that. Another group of people wants to know why the mother is sick, and they feel that they want to know that earlier in the novel. Here's the thing, you have to discern what you take from the feedback. With the school thing, I think it would be more helpful than harmful to the novel if I brought that up early on in the novel and explained that it was summer vacation. With the cause of the mother being sick, I think it would be more harmful than helpful to explain what's wrong with her at the beginning of the novel, because that's something that's built up and built up, and when it's finally revealed, it's like a shock factor. But just like, you don't give all of the information out at the beginning of the novel, because then they have no reason to read on. You know what I mean? And this is a really important piece of information that I want to reveal at a critical time where I think it would help the novel. So in this case, I'm not going to share that information any earlier than I've already shared it. But maybe this reader will continue reading on, and when that information is revealed, they'll understand. But I don't know. But with the school thing, I do want to listen to the readers and bring that up earlier. With this thing, I want to leave it exactly where it's at. Damn. This person says, no improvement needed, which I don't agree with whatsoever. But I mean, that's very, very kind. Again, kind but not helpful. So far I haven't really seen a lot of criticism in this feedback. As opposed to the first, there was a lot of like a good mix of good feedback and like negative things I need to improve on. Very helpful. They weren't just like, oh, this sucks. They had some helpful criticism, constructive criticism. In this one, I've seen more compliments, except for the fact that they would like to know why the girl's not in school and what's wrong with the mom. But let's dig deeper and see if I could get anyone to give me some issues that I could work on, because that's really the point of beta reading. One person said they are wondering what's going on with the girl on the train, and that's kind of where the first chapter left off. So I don't know if this person understands that the point of view has been switched in this chapter. I don't know, maybe they'll read on and kind of get the flow of the novel. But I did worry that that was something that was going to be confusing to people, switching between characters and between points of view every other chapter. It's something that I have read in other novels, and once I understand that that's what's happening, I'm fine with it. So hopefully it's not too confusing for the readers. So another person said the change in point of view is a little disorienting. So, like I said, that's something I worried about, but at the same time, I don't think it's something I need to adjust my entire novel for. Because the whole reason I did it was because there's things I can show when I switch the point of views that I just would never be able to show from the girl's point of view. And I think it's critical to the novel that these things are shown, and there's just no way I could have done that from the little girl's point of view. So hopefully these people that are confused can kind of like understand what's going on and then get on board with it. If not, then I'll have to decide what to do from there. But I think, like I said, I've read novels like this, and once I understand that that's what's going on, it's fine, it's readable, it's understandable, and it's not too confusing. So hopefully they'll kind of get on board with it, but I don't know. Something that always kind of struck me, like, in both my studio classes, so I had some writing classes, creative writing classes, but I also had a lot of visual art classes, and in both of them, you prepare a work of art, whatever that is, written or visual or whatever, and the whole class critiques it. And every student does this. So, some people got really pissed off when people were critiquing their work. Like, they would get offensive over every single comment. And really, it's bad manners. It is bad etiquette to even speak during your critique. If you argue with someone in a studio critique, no matter what kind of art it is, ooh, that's bad. That is just, you don't do that. You don't do that. And so... So there are some people that you would give them criticism, helpful criticism. You're not just saying, oh, your shit sucks. Like, helpful, constructive criticism, trying to help them improve their work, which really is doing them a favor. And they would just get defensive and start arguing, and that's just horrible. Like, that, you just don't do that. And, that, to me, I never understood that, because I did view it as these people are trying to help me. So, although I might not agree with what they're saying and I might not listen to their advice, I didn't get defensive over it. But one thing that got me was always, like, during these studio classes, especially with the writing more so than the visual art, like, I'd be getting great feedback from everyone, very descriptive, very helpful, constructive stuff, very meaningful feedback, and then one person would be like, Well, I don't understand why the main character is wearing blue jeans instead of shorts. Or, like, something completely stupid. Like, why the fuck would that ever matter? Like, there was always, in every single critique, there was always one person who had some kind of criticism that had, like, no point whatsoever. Like, it would not affect the story whatsoever if I changed it to the way you want it. Like, why would that matter? That is stupid, that's meaningless. And this person just said something like, I guess at some point the character picks out pajamas for the sick mother, and this person says, picks out PJs. Why not a nightgown? It's easier for a sick person. I'm like, does it fucking matter? Like, it doesn't hurt the story that this person's wearing pajamas instead of a nightgown. Why you took the entire time to read this chapter and then take the time out to give me feedback, and that's what you're gonna write? Really? Something that doesn't matter? That's what gets me. It's not the criticism that gets me. It's like, that doesn't fucking matter. Like, out of everything, that's the feedback you're gonna give me. Like, I don't know. Anyways, that person's comment was fucking stupid, but let's move on. So this person left quite a lengthy comment, and I think it's the same person who left one in the last chapter, where they say, now this is the level of emotional intimacy that was missing in the first chapter. So one, I'm glad that I've achieved that in the second chapter. Not so happy that it was missing in the first chapter. I think they did mention that in the last chapter, though. So I do want to add more emotion into the first chapter. Maybe not to the level that this second chapter has, but more. Because that's what makes humans human. So I do think I need to add that in the first chapter. And then they say something else, and then they say they still want to know what's wrong with mom. It'll help give context to their relationship. And again, that's just not something I'm willing to budge on, because that's a huge reveal later on in my novel, and I don't want to give that up now, and then there's no reason for the reader to keep reading. And then this person says, you have several scene breaks in this chapter. I would consider rewriting to stitch the scenes together so that there is a more natural flow from one element to the next. I can agree with that. That's something I did struggle with while writing, is that I didn't really understand, like, how often I should have scene breaks, if that makes sense. Like, I just didn't know, so I just went with my best judgment. But I think this is helpful. I think I do need to figure out how to make it flow a little bit better so that the novel as a whole can flow better. So I think that's some good feedback. So one person said they enjoy my dialogue. This person says it's a little bit too collegiate, I guess. It needs to be a little bit more like dialect, which I can agree on. I tried to really go for that in the novel, because I had this professor who, like, I swear to God, everything in a novel, if you wrote complete shit, as long as the dialogue was good, like, that's all you needed. Like, he was so nitpicky about dialogue, but for good reason, because that's a huge part of a novel. And if people are speaking like robots, then it just makes a bad novel. Like, it'll make a good novel bad. And so I can understand, but I think this person's being a little bit nitpicky, but I'll still keep it in mind. They go on to say that I need more description in the way of, I'm saying, I guess there's a part that says everything is gray or black, and instead of saying that, I need to show that. So, a huge rule in writing, show, don't tell. So I'm telling, they want me to show. Completely agree. I need to show more stuff instead of just telling them. So there's one scene where this person is at work, and if I've shared with you guys, this novel's set in the early 80s. It's not set in today's time. And this person lights up a cigar at work. And then this person in here, the same comment, same reader, says, too much of a cliche, not often seen in today's smoke-free workplaces. So I guess this person missed that the time is not, I haven't said it is 1980. So I've just been giving hints, like the type of lifestyle there is, the type of sickness the mother has, which they don't exactly know yet, but just the way the daily life goes. There's not people jumping into their, cars and driving places. There's, like, a lot more walking and trains and stuff like that, and the type of work that this person is doing, specifically in this scene where the person lights the cigar, the work that they're doing is not work that you would see today, because he works in an assembly line, assembling refrigerators, or microwaves or something, I forgot. But you wouldn't see that today. That's something that robots and machinery would do. So, and there's also dialogue in the same chapter about president, like who the president is during this time, and it's addressed that is the president. So I guess I've been trying to drop hints. Maybe I need to be a little bit less subtle And I don't want to say it is 1980. I just, maybe I need to drop a couple more hints. But apparently this person's not getting it. It's not today's society. It's not today's smoke-free workplace. It is a smoke-filled workplace in 1980. So I guess this person kind of missed that. But maybe that just means I need to be a little bit more straightforward and give a little bit more detail about the time period. So at one point from this chapter, from the father and the husband's perspective, he says the sick woman resembles an angel. In the first chapter, the daughter said she resembled a bear. So this person says, in chapter 1, she resembled a bear. I'm struggling to see how these two images reconcile. They're not really supposed to. The first chapter was from someone else's completely different point of view. So it's fine that these two people would not have the same vision of the same person. We all see people differently. We see everything differently. The daughter kind of sees her father as the stone man and her mother as a hibernating bear. Kind of like as a metaphor. That's how she sees her mom, that she's sleeping, sick, or in bed, just like lethargic. And her father is kind of heartless and harsh. In this chapter, we're seeing him as this very gentle, loving person, and we're seeing the mother as an angel, because that's how he views her. So, I'll probably respond to this just kind of mentioning that, maybe. Not so much like I just did, but kind of saying, it's from two people's point of view, so it's not necessary that they do merge together. So I'm gonna go back and respond to these comments on the first chapter and in this chapter, and see if there's any new feedback on the first chapter, because this is just open for anyone to comment on it. So we'll see if I have any new things since the last video, but that's pretty much gonna be it. Alright guys, so it is a different day, but I thought I was going to add a little bit more to this video, and I decided it's plenty long, there's plenty of content as it is, so I'm just going to save the rest of the footage for next week's video. But thank you for watching. Let me know if you like this style of video, if you want to see the feedback from the third chapter, or what you guys want to see in this this little Write With Me Wednesday series. But thank you for watching. Stay motivated, stay inspired, and stay happy. See you guys.